Hello everyone, back to tuning into today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather next 10 to 14 days for today's second video. Day 10 will take us to the 27th of September. And we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the GFS and ECM ensembles, maybe on track a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at the CFS-V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks. Gets us into the middle of October. And I should get to that for you in a moment. Just say that first. The video in series our 6M UK weather forecast. Please like, share, and subscribe on both of today's videos and content. Thank you so much everybody for doing that for GavsWeatherVids. Thank you so much, everyone. Hope you're having a lovely, lovely Tuesday. Right, let's start off CET. Have we had an update from Hadley? Let's have a look. No, so central temperature still hasn't updated, so still showing 14.7, 1.1 degree above 61 to 99 average provisional to the 14th of September. When we get an update for that, we will bring that to you. Of course we will. So moving on very quickly, these are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. We're at London today. Red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for London. So starting off above average with the upper air temperatures over the next week, the third week of September looking quite warm. The final week of September into the beginning of October, find the upper air temperature starting to gradually come down, then return back closer to average. Albeit there is a lot of scatter though within that. So of course we have got the cooler ensemble members down here, but we can't discount these warmer ensemble members up there. So when we get to the very end of September and the start of October, then it is a little bit more uncertain where we go with the temperature. But I think even with the scatter, we do see that the white line is cooling off a little bit. That of course is the ensemble mean. More definitively, precipitation-wise, looking unsettled later on. So starting off, of course, for the next week, mainly dry. In fact, completely dry, no precipitation spikes at all. But any time from about the weekend into the start of next week onwards, the rainfall spikes begin to return. And then they increase as we go through the last week of September, getting into the opening days of October. So an increasingly unsettled, increasingly wet and probably cooler look to weather as we come towards month's end and possibly lasting into the start of October. Temperature anomalies for 17th to 25th of September, a little bit above average, by a week to come. And precipitation anomalies for the 17th to 25th of September, dry and average, particularly so in central and northern regions. Latest weather map from earth.nullschool.net shows we've got an area of high pressure sitting right over the top of the country today. So we're high and dry and will be for the remainder of the working week anyway, really. But by the weekend, watch out for low pressure start coming up from the south. That brings us very nicely through to chart data. It's almost like it's planned, this, isn't it? So this is how the latest UK Met Euro run is looking for midnight on Friday. High pressure still in control, but weak pressure down to the south, and that took weaker low pressure then starts edging northwards through the weekend. Looks like it could be a bit thundery that as we go through the weekend. So certainly some heavy thundery rain, possibly thundery showers and or thunderstorms coming up south through the weekend. And then into the start of next week, low pressure, or a trough of low really, sitting over to the east of the country. Bring down a cooler northerly wind, looking rather more unsettled, certainly by the early part of next week. Icon, again, with that big area, high pressure in control for Friday, but by Saturday, Sunday, we're watching out for the lower pressure start coming up from the south. Into next week, that thundery low starts moving away towards the low countries in Germany as this bigger low starts developing out in the Atlantic. And by the time we get through to the end of the icon run, it gets us to next Tuesday at midday. It looks like that low has our name on it. Very much so, doesn't it? This is how the KMA is looking. And again, high pressure brings mostly dry weather for Friday, but there could be a few thundery showers even then down in the south. But over the weekend, we watch this thundery low start pushing up from the south. Could be some very wet weather in across England and Wales. Then into next week, the low pressure moves out into the continent. High pressure way towards Iceland. That brings the wind around to a much cooler northerly. Then high pressure takes over though for the middle part of next week for a while, but by the end of KMA run, this low pressure again looks like it's got our name on it, and we're starting to bring wetter weather in from off the Atlantic with that one as well. Okay, so that's KMAW. GFS midnight rain is looking. Again, high pressure dominating the weather really on Friday, but coming some downpours in the south over the weekend. This thundery low, or low pressure, and it looks like it's got a thundery flavour to it. Starts moving up from Biscay, so either bringing heavy thundery rain and or possibly heavy showers and thunderstorms through the weekend into next week. The low pressure gets out of the way, a ridge out to west, that brings the wind around to a cooler north or northeast. Then high pressure sort of toppling in over the country through the middle part of next week, but not for long. By day 10, 27th of September, we've then got low pressure heading in from off the Atlantic, and then that takes us off and running into what looks like a very unsettled close to September and beginning of October as well, with low pressure anchored just west of the UK, I mean bouts of rain. Quite warm with the temperature though, because the wind's coming up from a southerly southwesterly direction, so no problem with temperature, but certainly looks a lot more unsettled there right at the very end with GFS midnight run. GFS 6 then, by comparison, shows that high pressure, again, bringing lots of dry and fine weather, but over the weekend, the thundery low comes up from the south, trough sits over the country for the early part of next week, and then low pressure starts developing out in the Atlantic. So a more unsettled middle part to next week with GFS 6 there, compared to the midnight run. No ridge in the middle part of next week, actually just looking quite cool, wet and windy, very autumnal there by the 26th of September, bit of a dartboard low sitting right over top of the country. That will bring lots of heavy rain in with it. By day 10, the low pressure is moving off in towards the North Sea and brings the wind down from a much cooler or even colder northwesterly or northerly direction. And then low pressure remaining in control through the end of September into start of October as well, with further bouts of rain and quite cool temperatures as the wind is coming in from the northwest. By the 3rd of October, it starts to get to GFS, a ridge building out to west of the country, probably taking drier, but with winds coming in from northwest will be quite chilly. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much everyone for doing that. Drop a comment. Let us know what you think about this and all of our videos and content, and don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids, get them to subscribe to. Thank you so much for doing that. We've got 40 subscribers, that is all, 40, actually a little bit less than that, probably about 38 now, to get ourselves to 18.8k. So if you could give us a sub, that'd be absolutely awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. Okay, GM, once again, high pressure in the ascendancy through the end of the week into the weekend, and lower pressure starts coming up from the south, bringing some heavy and thundery showers and thundery rain down into the south. That low pressure then sticking through the country through the early part of next week. Further downpours likely. As the low pressure then moves out to the east by the middle of next week, winds shift around to a north or a northeasterly, becoming much cooler, even dare I say colder, and still unsettled though. That's settled at day 10. Low pressure off the east coast of Scotland, winds coming in from the north, so quite chilly with the temperature and the wind direction. And there will be further bouts of rain, particularly so for the north. Down there, probably colder even for a little bit of snow again over the Scottish mountains. What a funny September this has been, hasn't it? Okay, the ECM finally, and again we have that high pressure in control through Friday over the weekend. The thundery low gradually starts easing its way up from the south, bringing heavy downpours, possibly some thunderstorms too. And then on into next week, we turn wet and windy from the Atlantic as low pressure develops out to west of the country. So heavy showers, longer spells of rain, and looking pretty cool. Back to the setup at day 10, which is 27th of September with the ECM and this low. Again, it looks like that's got our name on it. If we go another 24 hours on, I suspect we will find that low going in that direction and bring another bout of wet and windy weather for the 28th of September, probably. This is a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run, Precipitation.com. So a lot of dry weather, of course, come over the remainder of the working week. Into the weekend, well, at the end of the week, we start getting some heavy showers, maybe a bit of thunder breaking out down in the south. But into the weekend, that gets more widespread as wet weather starts trundling up from the south then, particularly affecting England and Wales with either heavy thundery rain, possibly thunderstorms as well. And then by middle of next week, we're watching wet and windy weather gathering in the Atlantic and starting to push our way. So looking really wet and windy by the middle part of next week across the country. Heavy bouts of rain and whatnot. We get a little window of drier weather at day 10, but there is more wet weather lurking just out to west of the country there. These are the options on the table within the ECM Ensemble today for day 10. Gets us 27th of September from the United States Met Office. And don't worry, I've made sure we've got the right date. I won't go over that again. If anyone was watching yesterday's video, the whole thing kind of fell apart, didn't it? But never mind. No, so this gets us to 27th of September 2024, right? So I've made sure this is the correct date. We've got 13 members of the ECM Ensemble looking wet and windy around day 10 with low pressure dominating weather. 12, again, low pressure coming in from off the Atlantic, but 7 with a ridge just to the east. Low pressure out to west, probably breaking down that little ridge there. Another 7 with low pressure between Scotland and Iceland, a ridge down towards France. That looks rather westerly. We've got 6 with low pressure, deep low pressure right over top of the country, and we've got another 6 with low pressure just out to western UK and Ireland. Really, all options are looking unsettled. You've just got the minority option, the 7 there that has a little bit more of a ridgy control, but the vast majority option, differing slightly, of course, on the exact position of below, but the vast majority option is unsettled and low pressure dominates at day 10. In 2 weeks' time, this is how the options are looking. Gets us to the 2nd of October. 19 members of the ECM Ensemble then all change, with high pressure back right over the top of the country. That'll be mostly dry. Could be a little bit chilly, maybe some cooler nights. Another 19 though, complete opposite, low pressure right over the top of the country. That helps, doesn't it? And a ridge out in the Atlantic, a mid-Atlantic ridge. That's going to be cool, maybe quite cold even, and unsettled. And then we've got 13 with high pressure to the west, low pressure to the east, wind coming down from a northwesterly or northerly direction. So relatively dry-ish with that, but cool with wind direction as the wind is coming from a northwesterly or northerly direction. So it certainly looks unsettled at day 10, but by 2 weeks out we might be looking at some higher pressure developing there. Could be, that's the start of October. Right, CFSB2 finally, and then we're done. These are 500 millibar high solids, bring down into week periods. The first week period will take from the 17th to 23rd of September. The next week we'll see high pressure dominating weather over to the north country. Winds will be coming in from the east, so mostly dry and reasonably warm. Starts off, but all change for week 2. It's going to be the 24th to the 30th of September with low pressure events heading in off the Atlantic. That looks obviously much more unsettled. Week 3 will be the 1st to the 7th of October with lower pressure out in the Atlantic, higher pressure to our south. That's probably still a little bit unsettled, but it's trying to turn drier down in the south anyway. And by the time for week 4, it's all changed again. It's the 8th to the 14th of October with high pressure and back in across the north and west of Europe. That should be mostly dry and probably relatively pleasantly warm by day. Could be a little bit chilly under that air's high pressure by night, though, of course. Long way off, though, that, so we shall see, and time, as ever, will tell. Okay, we're done. If you've enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe. It's so looking forward to doing that. Why not drop a comment? Let us know what you think about this and all of our videos and content. And don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Get them to subscribe to it. It's so funny to do that. As I say, about 40, just under 40 subscribers, 39 subscribers. We'll get to 18.8k, so please give us a sub. Thank you so much. Right, tomorrow we're going to have a 6 a.m. UK weather forecast. The extended European outlook is shifting from Tuesday to Wednesday for the time being. So tomorrow we will have the extended European outlook, and then we will be live with our 10 to 14 dayer at 6 p.m. We'll do everything that we've done in this 10 to 14 dayer. The only difference is that rather than it being video upload, we'll be going live while we do that, and then people will be able to watch it back afterwards though as a video. So I shall see you live tomorrow. You're around the channel at 6 p.m. I'll see you then. But for this one anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and bye for now.